Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. First things first, I'm sure you can see that I'm in a different location. I am visiting my mum this week before I go to Paris. If you're wondering what has happened to my face, all you really need to know is that bad things happen to clumsy people. It is just really embarrassing and it's not worth saying. I get to go to Paris with a massive scab on my face. On with the books. So the first thing that I read this month was Dr. Jekyll and Mr Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. I'm studying it this year on my Gothic module at university and I'm really excited. It's only a short story as well, so if you do like Gothic literature and you've not actually read this one yet, I would highly recommend it. I think it's about 55 to 60 pages. It's really nice to see where that Gothic trope comes from, like the doppelganger and the dual personalities and things like that. And if you are kind of interested in that kind of thing, I highly recommend it. The next book that I read this month was a short story by Duncan Thomas called Within the Dark Places. I read this pre-release to do a review of it for the publishers. It's a short novella. I think it's about 90 pages. It follows a group of people who go camping for a stag do and bad things happen out there in the dark. It's very simple, it's a very quick read. I think I read it in less than an hour. I really like the way that the characters are explored and the different personalities kind of work together to, I don't know, play off this fighting for their lives type scenario. The next book that I read this month was Inherited by Frida Matthews. So this book I got in the July Fairyloot along with Frostblood. I haven't done the review for it yet because I am away, I am on holiday. I finished it just before I left as well. I just haven't had a chance to film the review yet. I really liked the story of Inherited. One thing that I will say now, I will go more into it in the review because I definitely want to review this book. I had a lot of problems with the novel's writing. I don't think it was edited very well. I found so many mistakes, and not just grammar mistakes, not just like writing mistakes. It was punctuation, it was sentence structure. Like, it just hadn't been well edited. I just found it really difficult to enjoy when there were so many mistakes with the book. But it was a really good story, so it did help me to kind of push on. I had a lot of high hopes and I was slightly disappointed. Another book that I did read was a children's book, again for a review for the publishers, and this was Darren and the Duke of Darkness. It was quite cute actually. If you do have kids and you're looking for, I don't know, something fun to read them at night, it is quite a good story actually. I quite liked it. For a kid's book it was very original. It was really fun to read. It was nice for me to kind of explore the way that I would review a children's book, because there were things that I was thinking, I was like, well, this could be so much more complex, and then I was like, well, it is a children's book, so the story doesn't really need to be that complex. The next book that I read, which I do actually have a copy of with me because I read it on the train, Sleeping Giants by Sylvain Neuvel. I loved this story. I thought it was incredible. I think one of the best parts about this book is the format. I will talk more about it in a review. You can see it's kind of like case files and interviews, like reports, that kind of thing. What I love so much about this book is that the narrative is incredible, even with a less descriptive form of writing. I thought it was amazing. I really enjoyed it. I didn't expect it at all. It's not something that, I don't know, I loved the sound of the story, ordered it, and then when it got here, the minute that I opened it up to read it, I was like, wow, okay, cool, yeah, this is really intriguing, and I am so glad that I bought this book. I thought it was an amazing story. It's really good, and I will talk more about it in my review when that goes up. This is kind of my September reading, but as I've pretty much just bought a pile of books with me to Paris, I'll see how many I can get through. So the next book that I'm probably going to pick up is one that I received for my birthday, which was a couple of days ago actually, and that is The Beautiful Walk in the World, A Pedestrian in Paris by John Baxter. I was bought this because obviously I'm going to Paris, and by the time you watch this video I will be in Paris, and it just kind of, it details all the kind of literary hotspots enjoyed by Ernest Hemingway, Fitzgerald, James Joyce. And it's fun as well because I try to kind of plan my trip around Ernest Hemingway's Moveable feast and all the cafes that he went to, while incorporating all the museums that I want to see and all the artwork that I'm hopefully going to have the opportunity to see, because I'm only going for a week and I'm panicking that I've planned too much. I'm really excited to read this. I'm probably going to start reading it on the train to Paris. And 2 books as well that I've been slowly working through are collections of essays for my dissertation, but as I'm going to France and I'm kind of writing on the aftermath of the French Revolution in literature, I thought I would just show you anyway. So the first one is Romantic Psychoanalysis, and the next one is Strange Fits of Passion. There are some fantastic essays in there on romantic poets. Another book as well is, of course, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone by J. Rowling. I really need to get through this in the next week because Georgie bought me the Chamber of Secrets for my birthday. The rest of the books are currently £4 at Tesco, so I just decided to buy them all. So I need to get through the first book. Finally, I know it's taking me forever, but I will eventually read it. The next book is Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. I am unbelievably excited to read this book. You have no idea how much I want to get into this book. So I'm hopefully going to start reading this while I'm in Paris. I've disappeared again. Just in case there's anything that I've missed, I brought Hemingway's A Moveable Feast with me to Paris. I just think it's a really beautiful story. It's basically kind of like the time in his life where he was an unknown writer and he was living in Paris. I think it was the 1920s. I can't remember whether or not it was published before or after he died, but it's just a really beautiful little story about what it was like for him to live in Paris in the 1920s. I did manage to make a good list of some of the cafes that he mentions in the book, so I would 100% recommend reading this if that's the kind of thing that interests you. I think finally I have Margeret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale. This was on my August reading list, but I just didn't get around to reading it. I will try and read it on the train back to Cardiff. This is a really extensive list and I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to get through it all because I never do, but goals. That is everything on my Paris reading list. I'm just so excited to go, and I will probably buy books because I have to. But if I don't upload a video next week, then I'll see you very soon, and thank you so much for watching. And yeah, give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe if you do want to see more from me. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.